So clinical studies can be pretty complex. What kind of things do you do here at Indus Biotech to control different risks that may come about?
So to control risks, the quality is very important for any clinical study. So at Indus Biotech, we see quality is not just a goal, it's a foundation for any clinical study. So what we do to maintain the quality by preventing the risk or minimizing the risk, first of all, we follow the internationally accepted ICH-GCP guidelines. So those are, we can say, non-negotiable for any clinical study. So those we follow during the study, pre-study, that is a preparation phase, then conduct phase, and then data handling and analysis stage. So ICH-GCP we follow throughout the clinical study procedure, right from the start to the end. Also, we make sure that we follow the, we can say, gold standard design for any clinical study, that is RCT, that is randomized controlled trials, wherein we see double blind design, double blind control, as well as placebo control design. So to ensure the double blind, so that doctor who is the investigator in the study as well as the study participant remains blind throughout the study, so that they don't have any bias. So what they are taking or what they are consuming during the study. So they are double blinded during the study, and this bias we remove by we can say we assign the code to individual study product, where this is done by independent statistician. This we don't do in-house just to avoid the bias during the study. So this is done by independent statistician, and when we select the doctor or any contract research organization, we say like where we give the contract for the clinical study conduct. So this investigator selection and CRO selection is based on their track record, we can say, or their experience in conducting clinical study, especially for nutraceutical segment. We check their experience for nutraceutical segment clinical study, then the area of whatever we are looking, the product is effective, for which area, that experience we check for CRO and doctor selection. And so basically we check the track record also during the, using the clinical trial registries for that particular country. So when we go to that database, registered database, we can check the experience of that particular PI or CRO and their involvement in the study. So that track record we check before selection for any doctor, hospital or CRO during the study. We also make sure that the labs or any vendor we choose for the study, they have certifications or we can say accreditations, like NABL accreditation in India we use for the pathology labs, so that we make sure that we have complete documentation, they have proper certification accreditation record for all the vendor we select in the study. So this is the we can say pre or preparation phase for any study. So while conducting the study, we check that proper source data verification. So we call it as monitoring of the data. So real time monitoring is important. So whenever the data is getting entered into the database or for a particular patient, so we check the real time data entry, that is using the electronic data capture softwares. So those are validated. So we check the data integrity and how it is getting entered. So what is the accuracy, completeness. So we check online as well as we can say on site. We physically visit the hospitals or study site. There we check the data accuracy and the completeness. Also we can see we check the calibration of the instruments. So for example, at the hospitals or at the study site, so they use various instruments, start from the weighing balance or stadiometer for measuring height. So these small instruments also we check calibration records, whether they are getting calibrated every year or frequently, whatever as per their frequency, 6 monthly basis or yearly basis. So all these measures we take to ensure the quality of the study and to minimize the risk, or we can say prevent the risk to get the better study results for any clinical study.
Wow, I have to say, I truly travel around the world talking to many companies, and I don't think I've ever heard anybody, one, say they do everything that you've said you do here at Indus Biotech, and be able to just, like, it's obviously part of the fiber of the company.
Yeah.
Because you obviously didn't memorize it, it's part of your life, right?
Yes, right, yes.
Wow, that's
it's
great.
Like a second home, we can say, performance clinical study.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah, we have I don't know if it's said here, but like it sounds like you dot every I and you cross every T, like everything is looked after.
So for this documentation and trained study staff is also important. So complete documentation of every stage of the study as well as the trained study staff. So we train every study staff for this particular protocol or the procedures, GCP procedures, how to report the safety events. So those we train every personnel in the study before initiation of the study. So this ensures the, we can say, complete data integrity and quality for the study.
So it's consistent throughout the whole process, regardless of what area the study's being done.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Wow, thank you. That was awesome.
Yeah.
So for me, as a pharmacist, I was brought up in the drug world. I was always concerned about patient safety.
Yeah.
So with regards to these clinical trials, what kind of things does Indus Biotech do to assure patient safety?
Yeah, it's a good question. So for maintaining safety, we first ensure that the ethical standards are maintained in the study. So for maintaining ethical standards, so we ensure that every study gets a ethics committee approval that is independent of what we can say the sponsor. So it is independently reviewed by a panel where the scientist and non-scientist team members are involved for reviewing the complete study documentation. And then once we get the approval, we register the particular study on that country specific clinical trial registry. So for India it is CTRI, that is Clinical Trial Registry of India.
Okay.
So we register every trial post ethics committee approval on CTRI. So that, I mean, it is a compulsory procedure here, so that it gets prospectively registered and so that we can start the recruitment of the patients. So for maintaining safety, as you rightly said, we have to take like informed consent document from every subject. So that is mandatory because informed consent document is not just a document, it's a dialogue where the study staff talks to like individual person or patient, where they explain the benefit and risk during the study, then what are the study procedures, what are the assessment they are going to go through during the study. So the complete study as well as the benefits and risks during the study is explained to the subject so that they can take informed decision about participation in the study. So this measure we take by training the study staff how to explain everything to the study participant. So this is the main point, and for risk mitigation we have insurance coverage related to the study product. So whenever the participant is consuming the study product, so there can be any risk, like any adverse events can happen related to the study product, and it can be non-related also. So for relationship, like this relationship to the study product, we give the insurance coverage for individual participants, and this is throughout the study till the end of the study. Also we make sure that the adverse events happen, like adverse events can be serious also and like mild also. So this all adverse events can be handled properly. This should be reported properly and immediately to the sponsor like Indus Biotech as well as to the ethics committee. So the documentation of adverse events is, we can say immediate reporting is important, as well as recording and handling them, like management of adverse event is also important by the study doctor, as they have to give the treatment, they have to assess the what is the relationship to the product, and then they can manage the adverse events effectively for the individual participant. So this way we can say the safety is the heart of any clinical study, and this if we we can say the product science is not just the innovation, but it's about the, we can say it's because of the protecting of the participants that gives this innovation, or that who make this innovation possible. So the participant safety and ethical considerations are the very important for any clinical study that we do.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
I love it. I'd feel safe. Can I be a part of the next study?
Yeah, sure.
I know that data management is really important when it comes to clinical studies. What type of things do you do to make sure the integrity is there?
Yeah, so for data integrity, we can say there are two parts. One is data collection, complete data collection, and second is the analysis. So for data collection, we follow, as I mentioned, like ICH GCP is a, we can say, non-negotiable thing for data collection as well. There are specific guidance given for data collection. So we follow ICH GCP. We also follow ALCOA principle. So ALCOA stands for A is attributable, L is legible, C is contemporaneous, then O is original, A is accurate, and then it should be complete also. So we after following this principle, the data, I mean, that should be real time based, also it should be accurate and complete. So for this data collection, we can have, I mean, we check for the validated electronic data capture, I mean, EDC, that is called as electronic data capture. So it should be validated software, so that it has inbuilt we can say edit checks, audit trails, so it can help in the data traceability as well as the data integrity. So this is the data collection part, where we collect the raw data and we ensure that it is accurate and complete. So next part is data analysis. So this data analysis we do with the independent statistician to avoid the bias. So raw data is transferred to the statistician post the study completion or complete data collection, and the statistician does the statistical data analysis based on the validated software whatever he has, and that is in discussion with the sponsor, that is Indus Biotech. So post completion of data analysis, we discuss the results with the statistician to have the we can say correlated interpretation with respect to the study product and whatever the results we got. So the frequent discussions we do with the statistician to get the correct interpretation. So these two parts, like data collection and analysis, when we combine, so we can say we'll get, I mean, when we combine all these things with the proper, following the proper principles and guidelines, so we can say this can give transparent and trustworthy study results, which can be meaningful for the scientific community.
So is the data analysis part of the protocol that you put together? Like, so I complete a study, or the study gets completed. So is that part of, like, you're telling them what you're looking for? Yeah. But is there ever a time where you have to go back and maybe redefine, like they weren't clear on what you really were trying to look for? Does that happen? Yeah.
So for data, after data collection, so while data is getting collected, what we do, like we prepare statistical analysis plan, that is called as SAP. So this is based on the protocol endpoints and the design of the protocol. So this SAP is designed by the statistician. So once statistician designs this SAP, we ensure that this should be completed before unblinding happens. So unblinding happens after the study completion, just to open the blind and check the correlation of the study result and the study data. So before unblinding, we complete the SAP procedure to avoid bias. So after that, we don't add any analysis. So that can be biased analysis, we can say. So before unblinding, we complete the SAP procedure. So this is with respect to the protocol and the statistician experience.
Okay. So I'm sorry, I'm always fascinated with this. So one of the things I've worked with companies with before is their study's already completed, published, etc. But I take a look at it and I start seeing other things in there. By then it's too late. It's obviously been published. Do you guys find yourselves doing that as well? Like I've helped companies figure out, like, oh, we should now do a study on this, or there's always like little pieces of gold, I think, left. So
like what we do, like whenever we do any study, so that should be first study is proof of concept. So whatever we have in mind from the preclinical data, that is animal study or in vitro evidence, so we do proof of concept study, that is in smaller number, we can say. We do sample size calculation, but it is in smaller number, just to prove the whatever concept we have in mind, and based on that whatever secondary endpoints are also there. Like primary endpoint is based on the preclinical evidence, but secondary endpoints are, most of them are exploratory. So we add based on our experience or our knowledge. So once we get any like study results, so based on the study results, if any exploratory outcome is positive or any other whatever we thought other than the preclinical evidence, so that can be further tested for larger study or larger population.
Okay. Cool. That's great. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. These were awesome. Thank you.